Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of the Journey with James show. I am James, of course, and I'm so glad that you guys have joined me again for another episode of the Journey with James show. This is episode number 5 of season 2, and I am just like, wow, we are getting these episodes done. We're being encouraged. I hope that you guys are being encouraged. I hope that you're being motivated, and I hope that you've been inspired by the guests on the show, meeting some of my friends, meeting some of my family, meeting some people, and just getting something good. And today's episode will be just like that, something that's going to encourage and motivate and inspire your life. I'm talking to one of my good friends, Damien. He joins me today. He didn't too long. It's been a few years now, but he started on his journey of entrepreneurship, and it is a great, inspiring story of consistency and faith. And I'm so glad that you joined me today, because you got a treat for you today. It's going to bless you. I pray to get some nuggets from him, and maybe you can apply it to your life, whatever you're trying to do in your life and your goals. And that's what this whole premise of the Journey with James is all about. Working to help each other out, not just me. Let's push one another to be the best that we can be. Let's push one another to by giving them some advice or something that'll help them, that may help you on the road to anything. And so today's episode is about the journey of entrepreneurship. Of course, there'll be some fun in there. We have a game that he's going to host, Would You Rather? But first, let's get to some crazy news of the week. So this is the segment where I highlight some crazy stories that I've seen over the week, and I share it with you guys, and I want to know what you think about it as well. So please leave a comment in the description. Let me know what you think about it, or even if you have an idea or a story that I may not have seen that you would like me to air on this segment, please let me know. Let's start with our first story of the day. Look at this here. An Arizona man called a snake removal company because he thought he had saw what he appeared to be about 2 to 3 rattlesnakes. They were kind of like moving around in his garage, and so he called and tried to get some help about it. But he was so wrong. He thought it was 3. He found out rather that it was 20 snakes. Let me say this again. There were 20 snakes in his garage just roaming around. It was said there was 5 adult western diamondback rattlers and 15 babies. Woo! And one of the adult snakes they say was actually pregnant at the time. So they got the snakes out of there. As you can see here, look at this crazy scene. Could you imagine? Oh my God. If I see those snakes coming around in my house like that, oh my goodness, the craziness that would ensue. I couldn't take it. I don't like snakes. I don't like them at all. Here's another crazy story of the day. You should take a look at this lady's hair. Oh my goodness. She has grown a mullet that's longer than she is tall. So this here is a mullet. The mullet is 5 foot 8 inches. So she's actually smaller than that. And I'm actually like 5'10", 5'11". So that's a huge, long mullet. But her name is Tammy Manis. She's from Tennessee. She says she hasn't cut the back of her hair since 1990. I was 7 years old in 1990. Oh my goodness. And so it's grown to 5 foot 8. And it's, 5 foot 8 inches is crazy. She's now 58 years old, and she said what inspired her to grow her hair was in the 80s when she saw a video by Till Tuesday called Voices Carry. The singer in that video had a red tail, and she really wanted one of those. I remember when I had a red tail back in that time. It didn't grow as long as that, but it was pretty, like a mullet, but it was pretty cool to have a red tail. Will they bring those back? I wonder. I don't know. Well, here's another story that I think will bless you and give you a little laughter, give you something to get your week started. Laughter is always good. I always say that. Laughter is good for the soul. And so here's my prank of the week. It comes from My House is Dirty, which is on YouTube. They have a plethora of different pranks that they do. But this one stood out to me because I love to see somebody get scared about something. That's this particular thing here. As you look here, it's a lady. Starting off with some ladies here that were scared because this prankster put rats on them. My goodness, let me just say, craziness ensued.
It's on you. It's following you.
Oh my goodness, man. I can never stop watching pranks. I love them. I love them. I love them. But like I said before, do not prank me, okay? I don't like that. But I love watching pranks. And you saw that one lady in there, she was like, she didn't care. She thought just threw it out the way. They don't happen too often, but that's funny as well. Anyway, we're going to come back in a few minutes. We have that special interview with my friend Damien. We're talking about the journey of entrepreneurship. We're talking about his life, little personal things about his life. And we're playing the game of Would You Rather. You don't want to miss it. So stay tuned. You're watching the Journey with James show. Walk with me on this journey as I share transparent stories of my life and others. We'll explore the ups and the downs, failures and successes, offering each other hope and advice that can help you on your journey. Fun, laughter, thought-provoking convos, trending stories, and interviews. It's the Journey with James show. Hey, sometimes you gotta get up and dance. Enjoy your life, despite anything that you may go through. Just enjoy the fact that you are alive, that you can move, that you can groove, that you can do the two-step like me, that you can just have two left feet like me, but just enjoy the dance, the love, God. Be encouraged today, be inspired today, be motivated. Welcome back to the Journey with James show. I'm glad you guys came back. I hope you enjoyed that little fun segment that we did in the beginning of the show. I love to do that because it's part of my personality. I love to have fun. I love to prank. I love all that kind of stuff and to joke around. So that's what I like to do in the beginning of the show to get the show started out. But this is our second segment of the show, and it's called, one of my favorite segments, I should say, it's called James and Friends. And this is the opportunity for some of you guys to meet, or the ones who's watching, to meet some of my close friends, and we're going to have a conversation. It's unscripted. We're just going to talk, and we're going to explore both our journeys. And so without further ado, I'm going to not invite, but I'm going to introduce you to a good friend of mine. We've been friends. We realized it was like since 2008 or 9, I believe. And he has been a great friend in my life. He has been a big encouragement in my life. So I knew for sure that he had to be a part of this show, because this show is about encouraging, motivating, and inspiring your life. And so I want to introduce you to my friend, Damien. What's up, man?
What's going on, James?
What is up? What is up? We all set and ready now, right?
Yeah, we all set, man. It took a little bit, like I was telling James here, I got like a 3-legged tripod, and one of the legs fell off right before I was supposed to meet with James, you know what I'm saying? So he was gracious enough to allow me to get that stuff together,
Hey, God gives us that peace, right?
Right?
He gives it that, he's patient with us, and he gives us that peace, man. But I'm going to tell you one thing. I had me a good laugh for about 15, 20, 25, maybe 30 minutes. No.
Yeah.
We all set though, man. I am so glad, man. First of all, I'm glad to see you. First of all, man, it's been not too long. We actually, I thought we connected last year, right?
Last year, yeah.
Yeah, you came down. Where are you now?
I'm still in between, back and forth between San Diego and Tijuana.
Okay.
So, yes, sir.
Okay, so when I first met you, man, it was back in, you said 2009. At first I said 2003. And you was like, nah.
I had to remind James, I was in LA County in 2003. So
yeah, I guess it's because I'm getting a little bit older, but I still
age.
What'd you say?
I said it happens with age. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But I can go for 20. I know that for sure.
Yeah.
But with all that said, man, I remember when I first met you, you were a part of the Excellent Word TV. So this is nothing new for me, guys. I've been doing something with TV productions for a long, long time, but it was more amateurish. It was definitely amateurish back in that time, man. And so you're one of the first people that was got to see some of the ins and outs of how I got from there to here. And do you remember where we were when we met?
I think so. First of all, I was stationed in Norfolk. I was in the service at the time. I was in the Navy.
Yeah.
So I was at Naval Station Norfolk, and I believe you were in Portsmouth, right?
P-Town.
Oh, you was Pete. Yes, sir. Yeah, man. So ever since I met you, I would have never known it was, you were an amateur. Ever since I know you, you've been doing something with television. So
okay.
Yeah.
Well, that just touched my heart there. That really touched my little heart. I say amateur because I remember a time when I really didn't. I had that little small camera, and I had to. It was a guy, my friend LV. He would let me use, or he would come and record some of our stuff. He had the broadcast cameras and everything, so he would help, and I would use his editing machine to try to put something together. Man, it was all over the place, but we're here now, and we're growing. And I'm so thankful for the people who are in my life in that time, and that includes yourself, man. It was a pleasure, man. So we've connected and we've been in touch then, here and there, we may not hear from each other sometime because of life and different things like that. But I tell you, a true friend when you can connect again, and it's just like you didn't lose much at all, and that's what happened, man. And so I remember, I think it was last year, we were talking and everything, and you were really, one thing I can say about you, you are really, really consistent, and you are focused on what your goals is in life and what you want to do with your life. And so we had some good conversations about doing better in life and in our journey in life and wanting to grow. And one of the biggest areas that you really wanted to do was entrepreneurship.
Yes, sir.
And it really touched me to see that you're actually doing it, because I remember when you were maybe a little nervous about even stepping out, man. Can you tell me that process for you? How was it for you in your journey?
Man, it's a lot that goes into that. I really don't think that you have to settle. That's one thing about me, and I've witnessed my mother. My mother raised me. I come from a single parent household, and my mom, raised us. She did whatever she had to do. But one thing she really served as a great example in is she never settled. She never settled in life. She always had certain goals. And I understand why I am the way that I am. It's because as I reflect, I remember how my mom was, right? My mom used to work 2 or 3 jobs just to take care of bills. But also I remember she was very goal oriented. She used to do things. I find these little papers around the house. They used to be like little checklists. They were like goals my mom would accomplish, right? I didn't really realize how big that is, but you know how some things you think about, you don't really notice them when you're younger, but you reflect on them as you get older, right?
Yeah, you're like, oh my gosh, I see it. I get it.
You see what I'm saying? So as I am who I am today, like I do the same thing. I have certain goals that I check off, right? And I reflect on, like, my mom used to do things like that, So that's one of the things that I've taken from my mom is I've never settled. And I never, I don't think that you have to do things just to get by and not enjoy what you're doing. I think you should enjoy it. So I think a part of my entrepreneurship journey is actually doing something that I want to do, because I think it leads to more productivity. It's like I think we all have the experience of working in a job that we don't actually want to do. We think we just have to do that job to get by. And I don't think that's going to lead you to success. So one key thing for me in getting into entrepreneurship is doing something that I actually want to do, because I know it'll lead to better productivity, So that's how it started for me. I used to dream about, kind of like daydream about doing what I'm doing now while I was working a 9 to 5. And that was a big jump for me. It's an overnight thing, and it does take some courage to be able to do that. So like I was reflecting on this today. It's like I'm I'm not the smartest guy in the world, right? Like I'm not the most
Yes, you
intelligent, but
are.
I am. I'm not. You know, I do give myself credit. I am an intelligent guy, but I'm not the most intelligent guy in the world. But I do give myself credit in this. I was correct to actually do what I wanted to do. You know.
Man, you done touched something.
Yeah. So I was just courageous enough to do it. Crazy enough to do it, but I had enough courage to do it with all the fear that comes with trying something new, because that's normal, right? Like a lot of us want to do things, but we just are scared to do them.
Whew.
You know
Fear,
what I'm
man.
saying? Like
Faith, evidence of appearing real.
Yeah. So, but that's a part of it. Even that's a part of the journey. There's an emotional part of your journey. And it really has to do with managing your fears, right? Like you gotta want it more than you're scared to do it. You know what I'm saying? So it takes great courage to be able to do those things. So that's what I said. Like I give myself credit for being courageous enough to take those steps. So
Man, you have really hit some on the nail, because I've always said this over the years, especially in my life now, because I've been through divorce and some tough things over the last few years, and it's almost like I am starting life over. And one of the biggest things, and I'll tell you, it really started for me when my mom passed away back in 2015. It was like she was at 50 years old, and it was like life is not promised. She had dreams of doing things that she wanted to do for her life. She wanted to experience life in a better way, because she had endured abuse and different things like that in her younger years. And she just wanted peace, and she wanted to do some things that she wanted to do, but she died. And so it was that moment where I knew that I have to move and do something with my life, something more, to go out there and get what I want. And one of the things I always say, and I've said it on this show many times, and you hit it on the nail when you said that word courage or courageous, it gets me excited, because I always say that growth takes courage. You cannot grow if you don't take the courage to face what you got to face. And that is even facing your fears, man. And you have really, even when you're talking, like you're encouraging me right now, because there's some things that I need to even step out on that I haven't. Now, I'm not saying that I haven't stepped out on some things. Even doing this show is a step of courage, for real, because I'm making myself vulnerable to be up here every week and talk to you guys. But I get it, what you're saying, man. It's so important that we take those things, take that fear and make it something good. Okay. You may feel fearful, but I'm going to take this step because God is with me in every way possible. And so I see that in your life, man. So my question becomes, what was the pivotal moment? Was it something, because you've been in entrepreneurship, you've been in business for how long now?
About 2 years. Yeah.
I can't believe about 2. Whew.
About 2 years, yeah. Because like the year is about it's actually starting the business, actually opening up the LLC, getting everything right administratively, and then there's a point where you're actually operating. So we've been operating for a little over a year, but I started the LLC, and this is it's probably about 2 years, almost 2 years. Yeah. Yes, sir. Yeah.
And you kind of mentioned this in what you were talking about, taking the courage to do what you're doing. What was it, a pivotal, defining moment for you in the last 2 years, before this even started, before you did entrepreneurship? Was it something that said, you know what, no matter what, I gotta do this? Was it a moment, a situation, or it was just like, I'm just gonna do it?
Yeah, I actually, before, I'm grateful for my previous job, the things that I learned, but also miserable.
And that's just honest.
So sometimes we yeah, I don't realize that's a lot of people. A lot of people are doing to make $1, right, to survive, and they don't enjoy it. That's the regular experience. That's what most people do. But remember, I told you I don't settle, right? So I just felt like I don't want to feel miserable just to make a living. I got to get out of here, right? And you notice how I know in my place of employment, I just noticed that most people didn't want to be there.
Unhappy.
Right. And people congregate together and talk about how miserable the workplace is and how much they don't like it. Right. So I knew that I did not want to settle for that kind of environment. I wanted to do something I actually wanted to do. right? So this was pre-pandemic. And then the pandemic really just made me realize we do not have a lot of time.
Ooh, that's that
Because
moment right there.
you were talking about your mom. She had things that she wanted to do. She had goals, she had dreams and she had goals that she wanted to check off that list. But she didn't have the time. And it made me think about a scripture, James.
Yes.
It's the
Come on,
scripture.
preacher.
I believe it's Psalm 90. It's actually a psalm when he says, "Teach us to number our days that we may gain a heart of wisdom."
Ooh,
right?
That's it. Yeah.
That realizing that you don't have forever, right? And when you realize that, when you really understand that, you start to do the things that you know that you've been called to do, you know, because that we don't have the most time in the world. It's like a lot of times we don't realize how much time we don't have. But that's a true piece of wisdom that'll once you understand that, you'll start to take more courage and you'll start to take action.
So how do you feel now that you took action and you're now an entrepreneur? 2 years in, how do you feel?
I feel happy about that, man. It's definitely, I'm happy that I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, man. To be honest, I feel like I'm walking in a sense of purpose. That's a different kind of energy to operate on. When you operate from your purpose, and I understand that my purpose is to inspire, right?
Yeah.
By taking action and doing the things that I'm supposed to be doing, and
an
really
example.
setting an example, yeah. And so I feel like that's part of my purpose. And one of my I have this list of affirmations I go through. One of those things is I am inspiration. Right? God made me to be. You know what I'm saying? Like God didn't make us to settle. It's like we are made in the image of God. Why do we settle? And we think about how amazing that is. We're made in the image of God, right?
Yeah.
And we settle for so much less, We're not meant to settle.
That settle word keeps coming up, and that's so that tells me that's one of the biggest words that you follow in your life is not to settle, and I think that's important. And you mentioned affirmations, man. I'll be honest with you. It was a time in my life that I'm staying away from that because that's not of God and all that kind of stuff. And it was because of what I was told and how, with church and all that kind of stuff. Now, I said it to say, how important is it to affirmation? Because I'm gonna tell you now, I do affirmations as well, and it has been beneficial for me. But how important is it?
It's important because the way you speak to yourself is critical. It's about the way you speak to yourself, right? You talk to yourself whether you realize it or not.
Oh, you want to admit, you're right.
You know what I'm saying? Whether you think it's you talk to yourself every day. I'm gonna tell you that right now. And however
you talk to yourself every day, right? That's what you're saying. Yes, you're right.
All of us have a dialogue, an inner dialogue,
Yes.
And affirmations is just a way. It's a healthy way of speaking to yourself, because what you think about yourself is critical. It's gonna lead to either you walking around with your head up or your head down. It's all about the inner dialogue, and it's important to get that right because nobody speaks to you more than you do, right? Nobody spends more time with you than you do. You lay down with this inner dialogue. You wake up with this inner dialogue. So it's important to get that right. You know what I'm saying?
Wow. So do you think it really is an easy concept, but it's just the willpower of the mind that people just don't do it? Do you think it's hard to attain, any kind of success, or is it just really a formula that we need to follow consistently? That's not hard. It's just the problem with consistency and the problem with having the willpower to do it.
You know what? The consistency is the hard part.
Oh,
right?
I like that.
Hard part. It's hard to do something over and over again. It's hard to do the things that you should be doing for yourself, right? It's like we should be taking care of ourselves, right? We know what should be physical activity. We already know that we should not be watching certain things. We already know that we should have a healthy mental diet. These are all things these are things that you should be disciplined in, that you should do consistently, but that's the hard thing.
Yeah.
So that's what it is. It's hard to be. you know?
You are exactly right on that. You are exactly right, because I will say this. I'm weigh a little bit more than last time you saw me when you were actually here and we had went out to breakfast or lunch. I forget what it was. I was a little skinnier. I mean, I was doing my thing, you know, trying to lose the weight and all that stuff. Had a trainer and everything, but now I done gained some weight, lots of weight. And I know that I can do it, but it's like, I don't know if it's a stage in my life where I'm not saying I'm lazy, because I'm not, but it's like, I just don't have the will to do it. And so when you say that discipline and consistency is hard, I can agree with you on that. That is so true. But it also tells me that I know I can do it, but I got to change my mindset. Do you believe, like you just said, positive thinking is important. Speaking to yourself is important. But I'm sitting here right now encouraging someone else and having this platform here, and I can't even lose the weight that I know I need to lose. What can you say to someone like me who gives out that encouragement, but needs encouragement for themselves, and I would say motivation for themselves?
Well, I would say to you, James, that you've been there before, right? Where we just
God,
talked about when last time we saw each other in the presence, right? You were at a smaller weight. So you've done it before. You know what I'm saying? You've actually done it before. So if you've done it before, you can do it again. You just have to. I think it starts with telling yourself that you can, and just remember that you have this inner testimony of yourself that you've done it, and there are other people who have seen you points in your life when you were small. And I've talked to you during those stages where you have had those goals. I remember when you had a coach, an online coach, right?
Yes, I did.
So you just got to things are that led to you being successful there, right? Because you have successfully lost weight before. I think one of those things is like, like an online coach serves as accountability. Sometimes we do need accountability when we try to go for certain goals, right?
Right.
You know, if you're lacking the will, help. You know, you don't have to be alone in your journey and trying to get better. Some of us need more accountability than others. That doesn't make us better than the other person. We just know we all need different things. So you got to know yourself in order to know what you need in order to get there, right?
Got to be honest with
yourself. Do it. I can do it. I seen you do it before. I was there during your stage of life when you did it, so you can do it.
Yeah, man, I lost 38 pounds, I think it was.
Yeah.
Don't ask me how much I gained back, but
yeah,
don't do it. Don't do it to me. Don't do it. But I would tell you the difference for me right now is I had a point in my life, and of course we're all about sharing our journey. So I'm going to share my journey on the journey with James. But all my life, I always beat myself up a lot when I didn't achieve the goal that I wanted in the time that I wanted. But I realized even in this moment, and I didn't love myself, I would say that. And even in this moment, I know that I need to do it, but I don't love myself any differently. Like I love myself. I'm going to take my flubber and I'm going to walk around with my flubber, but I'm also going to do something to get rid of the flubber bubba as well, you know. But the difference is I've learned to love myself in the process because sometime in the process we get so discouraged, and that's why we give up, because we don't love ourselves enough to say, okay, I'm here, and it wasn't just like that I gained the weight, so it's not going to be just like that when I lose it either.
Right.
And so, and I think it ties into the business and the entrepreneurship that you're doing. It works the same way, you know, just knowing that I can't give up. I got to do this. It's going to be some pitfalls. And that's what I want to ask you. What are some pitfalls that you run into, or have you ran into already that may have been a discouragement to you, but you didn't give up?
You know what, man? I just manage my expectations. I have started things before, and I've given up on those things. And as I reflect, it's because I manage my expectations, right? It's like sometimes when we jump from one thing to another, like the idea of going from one thing to the next it's a good idea until we have to do it, right? So then you have to deal with the transitions of things, right?
Right.
Transition is you deal with turbulence, right? Because you're going from doing one thing and then getting a habit of, like, say for instance, you work in a job, right?
Right.
You do that thing every day. That's what you habitually, right? So if you got a plan to do something different, jump into a new trade or be an entrepreneur, you're taking your body through a new experience, right? So you got to expect there to be some time. And then you're lacking knowledge. You're going into a phase where you're trying something new, and then you have to acquire new knowledge to be successful. That's turbulence, right? So I think in the past, I accounted for that turbulence and that transition. Here now, a good thing that I have done is I've accounted for that. And one thing I tell myself, it's not an overnight thing. It's a marathon, right? So I just remind myself, one of the things I tell myself too is I'm patient, right? Now I'm gonna go through this thing, okay? And whatever I do, I don't care if it's one thing, right? I'm gonna make sure I do something to reach that goal. Even if it's a small step.
Yeah.
Expect it to happen. You know what I'm saying? So that's what helps me to be consistent. It's like telling myself it's not an overnight thing. And I've learned how to coach myself through it, you know? So that's one of the things that has helped me to be so consistent in this journey, in this phase, is because, you know, I've reflected on things that I've tried in the past, and you know, I realized that I could have managed my expectations better in trying to transition. So I'm doing that better in this stage.
And that's real good. Well, you know, here on the Journey with James, we get a little personal, and I think it's important to get a little personal and to get a little bit more personal, I should say, and to be transparent, because I believe that we're on this journey of life together. Why not encourage, inspire, and motivate people in our lives? So we're doing it together. Why not? Why not? And one of the biggest things is sometimes there are stories that can help someone else. And I say all that to say, because I don't even know. You did mention earlier that you come from a single parent household. And so my question to you is, being in a single person household, how was that for you? Did you have some setbacks or some things that were negative, some things that could have pushed you away? What was that like for you as a child?
You know, for me, it was, I mean, I didn't have my father around. I don't have the experience of having my father around.
Yeah.
It was my environment. It was, you know, I had my mother there. She did what she had to do. My mother served as a great example. But I do reflect and I realized it was hard on her. And it required me to do more things than maybe I shouldn't have had to do. But, you know, if I had been in a two-parent household, I am grateful for having responsibility. Like, I have two younger sisters, you know, so
yeah,
I had to grow faster than probably the next kid that, you know, had a two-parent household. Now, my situation is not unique. There are a lot of kids who grew up in a single-parent household, but those are the challenges. You have to have siblings. You have to take on more responsibility at your age than you would have if you had a two-parent household. You know, it requires. So I didn't get a lot of free time like that. I didn't get a chance to play after school sports or after school, or, you know, play with the kids in the neighborhood.
So you had forced to grow up quickly.
Yeah, I was forced to do those things, you know. So I felt like, and that to me that was a struggle. I wanted to be outside with other kids.
Yeah.
You know? Playing sports was naturally athletic, so I wanted to be able to do those things, but I was not able to do those things, you know. You know, so those are some of my challenges.
Wow. Yeah. So, I mean, are you doing those things now? Because you say you're very athletic. So what are you doing now?
Well, man, you know, I spend a lot of time in the gym.
So on the topic of fitness, you don't need to spend 2 hours in the gym. If you're just starting out, try to find 30 to 45 minutes, and preferably 3 to 4 times a week. You don't even need a gym membership. You can work out at home. You guys remember COVID, right? When they shut the gyms down, gyms were not available to us. So we had to find other means, you know, of getting fit and getting healthy. However, whether you're going to work out at the gym, or whether you're going to work out at home, or whether you're going to work out for 30 minutes, or whether you're going to work out for 45 minutes, you have to be consistent. If you want to see results, there's no other way. You have to be consistent.
You know what's crazy? I actually reflect on that. You know, God works things all things for good. So I'm actually, you know, a lot of people who play sports, they come out with a banged up body. You know what I'm saying? So I'm grateful that my body has been preserved and I'm healthy at this age. I'm 34 now. So, and I don't, you know, I don't have any injuries. I don't have a broken bone. But I do spend a lot of time in the gym. That's very important. Health and fitness is very important to me, as you know. So yeah, that's I spend
Are,
time doing
are you in
that.
the gym like every day, 5 days a week, every other day? What is that like?
As I've been so busy with the business, I try to get at least at the minimum 4 days a week.
Okay, 4 days a week. Okay, okay, and I think that's good, man.
Yeah.
So I was saying, so you were saying that you were very athletic as a kid and everything. So that tells me you're competitive and you like to play sports and games and all that kind of stuff. So what are some things that you're doing that's keeping you active?
Yeah, I'm in the trucking industry. Like I have a trucking company, so that allows me to be active. But you are sitting in the truck. Thank God we're local now. We're not over the road. When I started, I had done a couple roads to Arizona, and then we started doing local runs fairly quickly because I figured out what works. But yeah, one of the things I do is I start my morning every day with a walk, right? So it's my morning walk. It's when I meditate. It's when I pray. It's when I think about all my plans, all my ideas. It's when I talk to God in the morning. So it's my prayer walk. I do that every morning, but I'm doing that while walking. I'm praying while I'm walking. I'm planning while I'm walking. Returning to my goals and my vision every morning. I'm doing that when I'm walking. Right. That might be a good hour and a half or something like that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So yeah, and then also, I'm doing the gym. I'm in the gym at least 4 days a week. It used to be more, but some seasons are different when you have the time to do that more so.
Right.
But when I'm in the gym, it might be 4 days. When I'm in the gym, I'm not playing around. So
You do not play around.
Yeah, no, I'm not playing.
I don't know
around
if I can work out with you, man. You have me, man. I'd be ready to just leave. I'd be like, I can't do it. I can't do it. Because you are very focused and you do what you got to do, man. I commend you on that. Absolutely.
Yeah. So that's one of the key things. I do stay focused when I'm in there. I know what I need to do, and I get in there and I use my time wisely. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And you do something else too. Is it taekwondo, ki, karate? What?
It's a it is. It is it's a blended martial art, all right? Like some people do mixed martial arts. My teacher likes to call it a blend because, it involves, my art is Kaju Kempo. And it's based out of, it started in Hawaii. And there are multiple different practitioners. They specialize, whether it be in judo or jujitsu, Korean karate, and some other things, and they got together and they blended those things together, and it was developed in a street environment. A lot of the natives in Hawaii, they were having issues with like the military, so they would get into a lot of conflicts with the military. So different practitioners from different arts got together, and they kept what worked in their respective arts, and then they discarded what didn't work. Right, so it really is an art for self-defense. It's not really used for competitions. It's for self-defense. It's for street. So, but the art is Kaju Kempo. Yeah.
Okay, I absolutely like that, man. And so I guess my last question is: anything you would like to share? Like, what would you tell someone who is looking to be in business like you are looking to just step out on their goal? What can you reinforce that you already said? I know you said a lot of nuggets here, but what can you give in a nutshell that people can take away from this interview and go out there and say, hey, I can do this. I can be courageous, just like Damien. I can do this.
I would say know what it is, what you want to do, and take action, right? One thing I do is I take account of my actions, what I do and get done. I have a vision and things that I want to do, and I make sure that my actions are aligned with that, right? So it's just an idea until you take action.
I like that.
It's just wonderful until you take action, right? And that's when you change your reality and you got to take action. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, take action.
Wow. So you don't just write it down, put it into action.
Measure your actions. Ask yourself, what have I done today that's in line with my vision? In order to change my situation, changing your situation comes when you take action. When you actually,
I love that.
Do the things in line with your vision, right?
Oh man.
And then it's like if you have things that you want to do and you're not doing them, leads to disappointment. I was listening to something that Denzel said. He said, dreams only lead to disappointment if you're not taking action, right? They only lead to, they fuel.
That's the Denzel.
And that just resonated with me so much. And it does that so much for people, right? But the key is you got to take action, right? If you really believe, I do what I believe I'm called to do, right? That's what I'm doing. And I believe God is with me in that. If God has called me to do that, then I'm operating in my purpose and God is going to be with me, right? And even in the journey with all the disappointments, all the mess ups, right? All the so-called failures, all of it is a lesson. All of it is information that we go through. We go through an experience and we gather information. All of it is information for learning and for taking the next step, you know? So yeah, take action.
I love it, man. Man. So one thing I have been doing this season, this is my very first season. You know, I've been doing the Journey with James for a while, the vlogs and the podcast and all that stuff. And this is somewhat of a podcast, but it's more of a talk show. And so one of the things I wanted to do, because this is a different whole form of production, I want some people that may not know me to get to know me a little bit more and to see what other people think about me. And one of the things is asking my friends. For the first season, I want to ask my friends, and I've asked all my friends, is what are three words that describe me? And I'm gonna give you 3 words that describe you.
I would say resilient. Let's see, resilient for you. That's one of them. Because we already talked about the things that you've gone through. And I've actually witnessed some of those things, right? But I would say resilient, and you still have goals that you're going after, right? And you're still kicking strong. So I'd say resilient. What's another thing? Say resilient. I would say silly. Definitely silly, right? Definitely crazy. That's in a good way, right? And I would say joyful. I would say joyful too. I know you go through things, but being joyful is not absent of, trials and tribulations. But but when I see you, you're joyful. You know what I'm saying? So I would say resilient. I would say joyful, and I would say silly.
Silly. Right. I would say one thing that has been a trend with all of my friends that I've asked, and these are y'all are my closest buddies. They always say funny. That's like in everything, silly, funny. It doesn't matter. I don't understand it. I'm serious. I'm always serious. Right. But the first thing I would say is that you are absolutely funny. You have a sense of humor, man. Like, and that's a good thing to be, to have that personality, have that funniness about you is a good thing, man. And people like that and they embrace that. We need that kind of laughter in this life because some people, you don't know how you can make their day just by being yourself. And so that's the first thing. But another thing is that you're very focused and driven. And that is very much of a strong suit that you have that I know a lot of people aspire to be like that. And so you are definitely an example and a true visionary who gets it and does what he has to do. And you're a go-getter. You're going to go get whatever you got to do. You're going to get it. And I've seen it time and time again. In this instance, with your entrepreneurship, I remember had the conversation where you were a little nervous about it, but it didn't stop you from leaving your 9 to 5. It didn't stop you. And that's the resilience right there. That's why I said that for you as well. You kept going and look where you are now. Not saying that it's all peaches and cream, but it's saying that you are more successful because you decided to do what made you happy and you stay focused. And so I commend you. And one thing I will say, man, doing this show and having this segment, James and Friends, God reminded me of how I am so blessed to have good quality friends that not only are truly friends and truly get it, but that push and motivate each other. And so that's why I like to do this. 3 things that describe me. And I meant to say positive things. And then 3 things that describe you, because I feel like we need to do more of that as not only man, but just as a people, because you never know those words can carry. Like, he thinks I'm resilient. He thinks I'm this and that. I'm not going to give up today because somebody believes in me, and that's what it's all about in this journey is that we uplift. And so I intentionally do that to show that we need to be a people of encouraging one another at all times. And so I thank you for participating in that, man.
Yes, sir, man. It's one of the greatest currencies we can give each other is encouragement and inspiring people, inspiring each other, right? We can do that, right? We uplift to do what we really are feel that we need to do. You know, it's empowering. It's empowering.
Oh yeah.
And I do more of it. Yeah.
I'm blessed, brother. Thank you so much, man. But you're not going anywhere. We're gonna take Damien's not going anywhere. We're gonna take a quick break, and then we're gonna play our famous game. It's called Would You Rather, and it's hosted by my buddy, my brother, Damien. So stay right here. You're watching the Journey with James show.
Turning into all God has for me. In the process, confronting fears. Letting go of worry. Investing in others. Embracing God's peace. Being completely me. It's my journey. The Journey with James. Be encouraged. Be motivated. Be inspired.
Welcome back to the Journey with James show. This is a great episode. I'm talking to my boy Damien. He is on the entire show today, and he is giving some nuggets. And let me tell you something. This young man, and he's young because he's way younger than me at 34. But with all they say, he has so much wisdom and so much driven focus in his life. And I hope that the conversation that you just heard from him has helped you or just lifted you up if you were down or whatnot, because that's the whole premise of the Journey with James, encouraging one another, motivating one another, and inspiring one another. And please like and share and subscribe to this channel if you have not. It's the young. No, see, I always say the old show that I used to do. I'm gonna get used to it. Hey, it's real. It's youtube.com @ Journey with James. Why do I keep saying that? I'm so used to saying it because I just finished doing another podcast for about 30 weeks. And so now I'm trying to get out of the habit of saying the young and the beerless. But with all that said, please follow, like, and subscribe Journey with James, youtube.com @ with James. And also check out my website, www.journeywithjames.net. All right, I'm gonna shut up with all that housekeeping stuff, but I want you guys to like and share, tell your friends, even tell your enemies, because hey, they may need some inspiration in their life as well. They can change it. Y'all might become good friends, who knows? But anyway, back to Damien. He is going to be hosting the great game we call Would You Rather. What's up, man? Welcome back.
All right now. So I guess I'm the host now. So
let me shut up.
I'm gonna sit in the big seat. All right now. Okay. All right. So I got a few questions for you, right? This is a game of Would You Rather. All right. So we got three questions for Mr. James. All right. So the first one has to do.
I feel old when you say Mr. James. Hold up.
James. It is Mr. James, right? You can think older, you can respect. You know what I'm saying?
I take old. I see that's it, man. You gonna start up? Don't start me up.
All right now. So first question: what would you rather live without? Right? Would you rather live without salt on your food, or would you rather live without sugar?
I would rather live without sugar. Because to be honest with you, I don't like a lot of sweet. I like
without
a lot of
sugar.
Candy. I would rather have the salt than the sugar.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason is because I really don't like a lot of sweets. I do like candy, but I don't like a lot of pies and cakes. I got to be in the mood for it. But I do like well-seasoned food. Veggies and everything got to be seasoned. And if it's salt, even though I don't need either one.
That's probably number one, right? You don't want to live without no salt.
You said it again?
Yeah, so
I think we got cut off.
I know. I was saying, that's why I was thinking that you'd rather have salt than sugar because you don't want to live with no bland food. You know what I'm saying? You got to have some salt on your food, right?
No, man, yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, can you cook?
Experience. Yeah, I was actually cooking. Yeah. Yes, sir.
I know you can. I just want to see. I see how your voice got high. You got real about that. What you talking about? I can't cook. What?
Food tastes good. You know what I'm saying?
So you would pick salt as well?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, but I pick salt. I would pick salt. I feel like that's an easy answer though for me. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Yeah, I would prefer salt over sugar.
So you don't drink a lot of juices and sodas and all that kind of stuff?
Most of what I drink mostly water. You know, I'm to the point I can feel if I got too much sugar in me. I can feel it. It don't feel right. You know what I'm saying? After a certain while, when you change,
Yeah.
you can you can you can feel it, and I just don't like the feeling of having too much.
I got you.
Yeah, I don't like the feeling of it. So, I mean,
Okay.
I do,
Every now and then again.
every once in a while,
Yeah.
but I typically interact it with like some water. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Okay.
This one is kind of I got another question.
Okay.
Yeah. Every now and then, you gotta have something about balance. It's about balance.
Yeah.
You gotta have something every day. You know, I do enjoy. I feel like it's about being what you do what's sustainable, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I can enjoy something that's sweet every once in a while, but having it all the time is not sustainable, right? And then
Anything
like
too much of
having
is
it
not good
all,
for you.
that's not sustainable either, because then I'm gonna be craving for it all. You know, about balance and do something that's just have a diet that's sustainable. You know. Okay, so would you rather ingest content through books or through audiobooks? Which is a better experience?
You know what? A book. I like the feel of a book in my hand. I like the old school way. I have a bookshelf full of books, and I still have books in boxes that I haven't taken out yet. I absolutely love reading. I love books. And when they came out with Kindles and audiobooks and all that kind of stuff, I kind of strayed away from it for a while. I do have a Kindle and I do listen to some audiobooks now, but it's not the same for me. I mean, I get what I need, but it's nothing like having a physical book in my hand and read through it.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
What about yourself?
Man, I you know what? I must say, it took me a while to catch on to the audiobooks because I do enjoy reading the book, but because of my job, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or not my job, my business. It's a trucking business, and it requires me to be behind the wheel and hands free. So with the audio, a chance to like really get some nuggets and really like ingest the content and really think about it. I can do it while I'm on the road, and I'm able to like enjoy it and ingest and digest it faster. And a lot of times on the audiobook or the Kindle app,
yes,
the authors are actually reading their books, so it just adds to a better experience. You get to hear it really from their perspective. I mean, the book is from their perspective, but it's different to be able to hear it, read it
the
as
way
well.
they enunciate and the way they convey it makes a difference.
Yeah,
I got
you. Wow, this person is telling you, especially if it's like an autobiography, you know, like
yes,
they're telling you their experience at that point. So I've been finding that to be an enjoyable experience. Yes.
I'm open-minded to getting more into audiobooks. I'm open-minded to it because this is the wave of the future. All this stuff is the future. It is the now, and all they're going to do is advance from what they already have with the audiobooks. So it's going to be something even better than this. So I guess I got to go on the bandwagon.
They might, yeah.
You know,
If it's audiobook now, I can't even imagine what the new wave is going to be, right?
Right. I don't want to be behind.
Yeah,
it's like what Blockbuster Video. Like with Blockbuster Video, they decided to stay behind and they didn't catch on, and then they're non-existent. And that was a popular video company. So
it really was. Yeah, I remember that. A lot of businesses, go out just by not getting with the time, to not evolving. Right. So definitely.
I like that, man.
Okay.
I like your perspective on the audiobook thing.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it makes you want to engage in some audiobooks, don't it?
Yeah, man. You kind of sold that thing a little bit. I think the last audiobook that I actually listened to, and it was for work, because I am an entertainment producer, so a lot of times I get things I have to listen to. I have to read quicker, and I found it to be better to have the audio, like when I'm driving or whatever, and listen to the actual book or whatever in a short amount of time versus reading it. And the last one I had was by oh goodness, Megan Good's old actually ex-husband. what is his name? It just hit me now. You know what I'm talking about? Megan Good's ex. Huh?
Maybe I know he's talking. I forgot his name. He's actually from my hometown, Oakland. He's actually from Oakland.
Yeah, I ought to be ashamed myself. I should know this. But I'm looking him up right now because I ought to be ashamed myself. Devon Franklin.
Devon Frank. I almost said Devin Frank.
Devin Frank.
And that was close. Franklin, I was.
You were definitely close. Oh man, well he had an audio book. He had an audio book that I had to get through real quickly, and so I got to hear his voice talking about his aunts and his mom, like the woman in his life is what he was talking about. And I found it to be beneficial because I had to come with questions based off of what the book was. So in that aspect, yes, it was very, very interesting, and it was very necessary to have the audio book. So yeah, I got to get with the times, man. You sold that.
Yeah. But then you're
and I'm mad. I knew Devon Franklin. I don't know why. I had a brain fart.
Yeah.
Even you did.
Yeah. I did. So it was in the name came out twisted, but I had his name. It was similar.
It was mangled up, bro. Just like that that tripod. It was twisted.
Tripod got discombobulated.
Right.
In pieces. Got me in pieces. Yeah. Right.
Wow.
All right. We got question number 3, the final question. Okay. I very important question, right? So would you rather hit the pause life, or would you rather press the rewind button? Which would you rather do? Press pause or rewind?
This question was before my other show, and I want to answer this. See if I answer it the same way. I would rather. You said push pause or move forward. Was that the question?
Push pause or press the rewind button, like go back.
I kind of want to go back a little bit to change some things that I wonder if my reaction to some things or the way I handle some things, some situations, how they would be if I would have done it differently. And I'm talking about negative situations, things that didn't work out and things that didn't work. And so some things I would want to change in my past, yes. But I want to change them and then move forward and keep going. Like, okay, let me go change it and then let's see where I'm at. Will my life be different if I go back and change a thing? Will I be sitting here today? I don't know. But I think every action has a reaction. And so my actions in my past, some of the things in my past that I'm not proud of, it's got me to where I am today. Not necessarily a bad thing, but it's still some things I think that I should have done differently. So
definitely
rewind.
Definitely.
What about you?
I respect that. Man, this is a very good question. I think I'm in a stage in my life to where I'm really valuing my time, the time that I've been given. And I realize we don't have a lot of it. Our lives in the span of is a grain of sand, right? So I would rather press pause, right? Press pause. To be able to enjoy what we have, right? Yeah. To be able to enjoy that time a little more. To be able to enjoy the present a little more. Yeah. I'll be able to savor it a little more, right? It's like time is going by so fast, man. Yeah. It's like you blink and it's nighttime, right? And it's time to do it again.
I mean, look at the summertime is gone, just like that. Like where'd it go?
Gone like that. I would press pause on my mornings. I love my mornings.
That's good.
I love to get up in my morning. That's how I start my day. That's my favorite time of the day. All right. It's how I get, it's my talk with God. It's when I go over my plans and my visions for the day. And I just enjoy that time is sweet for me, right? So I press pause. Yeah. To be able
a lot of people, and it's interesting you said it because a lot of people always say, I don't like the mornings. I'm a nighttime person. I'm a later person or whatever. So I love hearing that different, that's something different. A lot of people don't do. I'm not saying everybody does it, but a lot of people are not morning people. And I like why. you like the mornings. That's good. Just sweet
Yeah.
times, you know. Just
The
you and
sweet time.
God.
Throughout the day, it's like, yeah, it's like if you were to press pause, imagine what that would do for your peace of mind, you know?
Mhm.
If you are a person who has something like that, or you do have a certain time, some people don't. Some people, we live in an age where, like, at large, we aren't valuing our time. You know, we got this device that we talking to. We have advantage to these handheld devices that we use,
Yeah.
right? And offer a lot of convenience, but a lot of times we use this thing and we are wasting time, right? So we're not the time that we've been given. We're wasting a lot of time, you know. So a lot of people don't have a certain time throughout the day. It's just time is gone. We're wasting it, right?
Wow.
Yeah. So, but yeah, you know, if you realize you are aware enough and you spend enough time in the presence, you know, to know that you have a favorite time throughout the day, you know, why not press pause and enjoy it a little more, you know?
Wow. I like that, man.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yes.
That's all? Or
That's all I got for you. That was
man,
I had 3 questions. How
man,
did I sit in
you
the
did a
host?
great job, man. You did an awesome job. You're natural.
You
You
know,
really are.
I might take a job. You know what I'm saying?
Go right ahead, bro. We can do this together. See, that's the thing. You ain't trying to take it. You're trying to you know, compliment it, or you know, you do your own thing. I support it in every way possible. But you ain't gonna take my. I'm only joking with you, man. But you did an incredibly great job, man. I enjoyed talking to you. We're like this. Just we laugh. We talk about some great things. We have a good time, man. And that's just how it is. What you see is what you get. There's no fakery in it. This is who he is. He's a good person, great person, full of wisdom and nuggets, and eager to help someone else in their life. He's not about himself. He's not selfish. He's wanting to help other people. And I hope you guys have gotten that just by this conversation and just the little while that you've gotten to know him, in the hour that we had here, that you got something, you can perceive that he's a good guy, and that you can perceive that he really wants to help you guys. So I hope that everything that you have given everybody today, man, I hope it resonates with the people, man. I thank you.
Yeah, and I just want to give my hats off to James, man. You are providing a platform for and really healthy and great content for people to be able to digest, and you're giving people something different, right? We see a lot of mess out there, and we are really, like I said, to go back to the concept of time, a lot of us are wasting time.
Wow. Yeah.
So I feel like you're something healthy to chew on. And you provide a platform, you bringing people on here to be able to inspire. That's what you're doing, right? So they're very grateful, and I had to hop on the opportunity and you know, contribute to however I could. I had to you know, contribute and do that, you know.
Man, it's two friends, man. I thank you for that, man. I appreciate that, man. And like I said, man, I am very honored. God has shown me I have good people in my life, man. And I pray that you guys will continue on my journey. And so this ain't the last time you're gonna be up here, because I told my friends, I say we're gonna be up here sometimes. We're just gonna shoot the breeze. This ain't the last time.
Yeah. Anytime, man. Like I said, I was looking forward to it, you know. So
yes, you were.
But you know, I had to get my hair cut, right? You know, I couldn't be
You're right.
You know what I'm saying?
And it's nice too, man. I would say
I had to get straight.
You had to get straight. And you feel better, you know, when you feel confident, more confident when you feel straight. And you probably was fine the way you were, but you know, no, you won't.
I wasn't.
Ragamuffin head.
Nah, I won't. I was. You know what I'm saying, I had to get that right.
It's right, man. It's right. She laughing at you?
Yeah. So, yeah, she laughing. Yeah. She know how crazy I'm out here looking.
Speaking of your white man, I didn't, and I meant to ask you this: how long have you been married, and what is marriage like? I'm glad you had mentioned that. I am so sorry. 2 things I wanted to do, actually. One was I wanted to talk about your marriage real quick, and I also wanted to honor your mom. I wanted to say thank you, Mom. You know, for work. You know, you said she did. She was a single mom, and she did all she could. So we say kudos to you. You are what we need in this world. Someone that's going to push, and that someone is going to work hard. And despite whatever limitations she may have had, she had raised a great guy in yourself, and I'm sure your sisters as well. But about your marriage.
Yes, definitely. Hats off to my. Yep. All right. Yeah. So I've been married for a little over a year. Yeah, a little over a year. Yeah. So marriage is good. Marriage is good. But marriage is good, but it's a challenge. It's tough. You got two different people from two different backgrounds, right?
Absolutely.
Trying to come together and make a life together, you know? So it's a lot of challenges. You see yourself, right? The things that I reflect on often, you know, like you spend a lot of time with one person and you can get annoyed with the little things that somebody else does, but it's not their fault that you get annoyed, right? You got to ask yourself why. It's because you come from a certain place. You was raised a certain way. So that just comes from you getting together with another person, making a home with a person who's from a completely different background. My wife is from Mexico, right? So there's a culture thing there too, right? You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it's good, right? I mean, you, and it's good. It's good. It shows you a lot about yourself. You see yourself in other people.
I agree with you, bro.
Right? To me, I see it as a partnership. You know, I aspire to help my wife to be who she's supposed to be, you know, and do what she is called to do, you know, and I ask her, you know, what does she want to do? I want her to be able to do those things as well, too, and operate in her gifts as well, too. So
that's good.
Right, is to be able to do that, right? You know,
that's why, blessing, bro.
You know, so it's marriage is service. That's
wow, I love service. I love that, man. Well, that's good. I thank you for being on the show today, man. You have been a blessing to this platform for sure, and to the people who are watching, who will watch later or whatever. You have been a complete blessing to this show. Just know that.
Well, my pleasure, man. Well, thanks for having me. I appreciate
You're welcome.
it. Like you said, we got to do it again. We got to shoot the breeze again, you know?
Oh, absolutely. No, without a doubt. And that's that. So, hey, with all that said, we got to get out of here. We are out of time for the day. I thank you so much for joining me on the Journey with James show. It has been a pleasure. I hope that you guys have been inspired, encouraged, or motivated in some way. Please reach out to me at www.journeywithjames.net. And join me on YouTube as well. You can get past episodes as well. So thank you so much again, Damien, for joining us. And thank you guys for watching. And join us again for the next edition of the Journey with James show.